You're too sensitive, Rachel. That's why you'll never understand the business world. My husband said it with that same patronizing smile he'd perfected over our 5 years of marriage. Always followed by a little laugh, like he was sharing an inside joke with someone who wasn't me. Marcus had this way of making cruelty sound like concern, of packaging contempt as coaching. I was sitting at our kitchen counter, grading spelling tests for my second graders when he dropped that particular gem. He'd just gotten off the phone with someone, his voice all charm and confidence. The moment he hung up, his expression shifted, the smile turning sharp, almost satisfied, as he looked at me hunched over those papers with my red pen. Seriously, he continued, leaning against the granite countertop he'd insisted we install last year. You stress about whether little Timmy knows the difference between there and there while I'm closing deals that could buy this whole neighborhood. It's sweet, really. Good thing you have me to take care of the real responsibilities. I didn't look up. Just kept circling mistakes, adding smiley faces, writing encouraging notes. I'd learned that responding only fed him. Silence was easier, safer. That's what I love about you, though, Marcus said, and I could hear him moving closer. You know your place, not like these career women who think they're competing with men. You're content being small. It's refreshing. Small. That word echoed in my head as I drew a star on Emma's perfect paper. Small. Like the compliments he gave that weren't really compliments. Like the way he'd introduce me at parties. This is my wife, Rachel. She teaches elementary school, you know, basic stuff. Leaves me to handle the complex thinking. I should mention that Marcus was a real estate agent. A successful one, sure, closing million-dollar properties in Houston's booming market. But the way he talked, you'd think he was performing neurosurgery. Meanwhile, I was shaping young minds, teaching children to read and write and think critically, but according to my husband, I was babysitting with a lesson plan. That phone call, though. Something about it nagged at me. Marcus had stepped into his office, the room in our house that I wasn't supposed to disturb, and when he emerged, he had that particular energy. Excited. Almost giddy. The kind of mood that used to mean he'd surprise me with dinner reservations or flowers. Now it just meant something was happening in his world that didn't include me. I'm heading out, he announced, grabbing his keys. Client meeting. Don't wait up. It was 8:30 on a Wednesday evening. His client meetings had been getting more frequent. Later. More secretive. I finally looked up. Will you be back for dinner tomorrow? I'm making that pasta you like. Probably not. Got a lot going on. You understand, right? He kissed the top of my head, that dismissive pat kiss that felt more like marking territory than affection. Try not to stress too much about teaching kids their ABCs. Leave the real pressure to me. The door closed behind him. I sat there, red pen in hand, staring at a 7-year-old's misspelling of because. That's when I noticed it. His iPad, sitting on the counter. Marcus was religious about his devices: phone, laptop, iPad, all password protected, all carried everywhere. But he'd forgotten this one in his rush. I shouldn't have looked. I knew his password anyway. I'd seen him type it enough times. His birthday. Because Marcus's favorite topic was Marcus. Just one look, I told myself, just to quiet that voice in my head that had been whispering warnings for months. I opened Instagram. Marcus didn't post much publicly, but his direct messages. So that's where I found her. Vanessa Chen. The name was familiar. She was the daughter of Dr. William Chen, the principal of the private academy where I taught. A man I saw every day, whose approval determined my job security, whose family I smiled at during school functions. His 28-year-old daughter, who'd recently moved back to Houston after finding herself in Los Angeles. Dr. Chen had mentioned it proudly during a staff meeting, his baby girl coming home, maybe settling down finally. She was settling down, all right. With my husband, the messages scrolled back months. Flirty at first, then explicit. Photos I didn't want to see but couldn't stop staring at. Plans for weekend getaways while I thought Marcus was at real estate conferences. Jokes about me, about the boring teacher wife who didn't understand him like Vanessa did. One message from 3 days ago made my hands shake. Marcus, she has no idea. Literally grading papers while I'm texting you. It's almost sad how clueless she is. Vanessa, poor thing. But honestly, this is getting old. When are you going to tell her? Daddy's doing the summer retreat at the resort in 2 weeks. Perfect timing. Marcus, let me think about it. Might be fun to make it dramatic. Your dad would probably appreciate the honesty, right? Successful businessman pursuing his actual equal instead of settling? Vanessa. Oh my God, yes. Can you imagine her face in front of all her coworkers? She'd probably cry. Teachers are so emotional. My vision blurred. Not from tears, I was surprised to find I wasn't crying. From rage. Pure, crystallizing rage. They were planning to humiliate me. At the school retreat. In front of my colleagues, my boss, everyone I worked with daily. They wanted to break me publicly, turn me into a spectacle. I took screenshots. Every message. Every photo. Every cruel joke. Then I closed the iPad, placed it exactly where Marcus had left it, and went back to grading papers. But something inside me had shifted. That quiet, people-pleasing, too sensitive teacher they both dismissed. She was done. She'd been documenting red flags in margins and circling mistakes for 7 years of teaching. Time to apply those skills somewhere else. The next morning, I called my brother-in-law. Well, technically my late best friend's husband. David Chen, no relation to my boss. Different Chen family entirely, was a divorce attorney. When Sarah died 2 years ago from cancer, David had told me, "If you ever need anything at all, I'm here." I needed something now. We met at a coffee shop across town during my lunch break. "Rachel, are you sure?" David asked after I showed him the screenshots. His jaw had tightened, that lawyer expression sliding into place. "I mean, I'm not doubting you. That's a lot to process." "I'm sure," I said. My voice was steady. Calm. Almost eerily so. "I need to know my options. And I need to know how to protect myself." David nodded slowly. "Okay. First, we document everything. I'm going to recommend a private investigator, someone discreet. We need financial records, physical evidence, the whole picture. Because if you're going to do this, Rachel, we do it right. No half measures." "They're planning something at the school retreat," I told him. 2 weeks from now. I overheard. I stopped myself. "I have reason to believe they want to make this public there." David's expression darkened. "Your boss's daughter and your husband planning to announce their relationship at a work event? That's... Jesus. Rachel. That's calculated." "I know." I stirred my untouched latte. "So I want to be more calculated. Can we do that?" He pulled out his laptop. "Let's start building your case." The next 2 weeks were the strangest of my life. I went to school, taught my students, smiled at Dr. Chen in the hallways. I came home, cooked dinner, listened to Marcus talk about his important deals and difficult clients. I played the role I'd been playing for 5 years, the supportive, simple wife who didn't ask too many questions. But in the spaces between, I was building something else entirely. The private investigator David hired was a woman named Lisa, a former cop who looked like someone's grandmother but had the strategic mind of a chess master. She tailed Marcus and Vanessa, documenting their meetings. Lunch dates at expensive restaurants. Afternoons at a condo I didn't know Marcus owned. Weekend trips to Galveston. But Lisa found something else too. Something that changed everything. "Your husband's been embezzling," she told me during one of our secret meetings. "Not from his real estate company, he's too smart for that. From the Chen Academy Foundation Fund." My blood went cold. "What?" Lisa showed me the records. "Dr. Chen appointed Marcus to the foundation board last year, right? Trusted him with fundraising, community outreach, managing some of the donation accounts." I nodded slowly. Marcus had been so proud of that appointment. Networking with Houston's elite, he'd called it. He's been skimming. Small amounts, spread out. But it adds up to about $40,000 over 8 months. Want to guess where that money went? She showed me receipts. The condo in Vanessa's name, down payment from an LLC Marcus controlled. Jewelry. Trips. Even a car, technically owned by a shell company but parked in Vanessa's garage. "He's been stealing from a school," I whispered. "From children's education funds. From your students' opportunities," Lisa confirmed. "Scholarship money, technology budgets, field trip funds. All redirected to finance his affair with the boss's daughter." That's when it stopped being just about my marriage. This wasn't just Marcus cheating, breaking vows, humiliating me. This was theft. This was hurting kids who deserved better. "My kids, can we prove it?" I asked. Lisa smiled. Not warmly. It was the smile of someone who just completed a very satisfying puzzle. I've got bank records, transfer receipts, expense reports that don't match up, even video of him moving money around in the foundation office after hours. Dr. Chen gave him access, trusted him completely. Because Marcus was married to one of his teachers, I said quietly. Because I was the character reference. You weren't complicit, David said firmly. He joined us for this meeting. You were deceived. Both you and Dr. Chen were. I looked at the evidence spread across the table. Messages, photos, financial documents, surveillance footage, 2 weeks of careful investigation, hundreds of hours of work, all pointing to one inescapable conclusion. Marcus and Vanessa had underestimated me completely. They thought I was small, predictable, too sensitive to fight back. They had no idea what was coming. The Chen Academy summer retreat was a tradition Dr. Chen had started a decade ago. 3 days at a luxury resort an hour outside Houston, where teachers could bond, families could join for the weekend portion, and donors could be wined and dined. It was meant to build community, strengthen relationships, show appreciation. This year's retreat had a special focus, unveiling the new scholarship program funded by the foundation. Marcus's foundation. The one he'd been stealing from. Dr. Chen had asked Marcus to give a presentation about the foundation's success. Marcus had agreed enthusiastically. Of course it was a stage, an audience, a chance to look important. I'd known about my invitation to the retreat for months, had packed my bag weeks ago. But now, I packed differently. Not just clothes and toiletries, but something else. A flash drive, printed documents in a folder, a laptop with a specific presentation loaded and ready. Marcus and I drove separately to the resort. He claimed he needed to go early for setup, which I knew meant meeting Vanessa. I told him I'd come after school, let out, would meet him there. He seemed almost relieved. Don't embarrass me at this thing, he'd said that morning, adjusting his tie. I know work events aren't your scene, but try to be professional. Dr. Chen and the board members will be watching. I'll be on my best behavior. I promised. And I meant it. Just not in the way he thought. The resort was beautiful, sprawling grounds, a lake, conference facilities designed to impress. I checked into my room, not the one Marcus had booked for us to share. I'd quietly arranged my own and took my time getting ready. I chose my outfit carefully. A navy dress, simple but elegant. Sarah's pearl earrings, David had given them to me after she died. Said Sarah would want me to have something of hers. I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. My hands weren't shaking. My heart wasn't racing. I felt calm, focused, ready. The gala dinner was that evening, the big event where donors, board members, faculty, and families gathered. Marcus's presentation was scheduled for after dessert. Before the entertainment, prime time, maximum attention. I arrived exactly on time, not late enough to cause attention, not early enough to seem eager. The ballroom was already filling up. Teachers I'd worked with for years, their spouses and partners, Dr. Chen holding court near the bar, board members in expensive suits. And there, near the front, Marcus and Vanessa. They were being careful. Not standing too close, not touching, but the energy between them was obvious if you knew what to look for. Vanessa wore red, bold, attention-grabbing. Marcus kept glancing at her, that same excited energy he'd had lately radiating off him. I took a seat at my assigned table, smiled at my colleagues, made small talk about lesson plans and summer reading lists, played my part. Dinner was served. I ate mechanically, tasting nothing. Around me, conversation flowed, laughter, gossip, someone's engagement announcement. Normal life, happening all around me, while I prepared for everything to change. Then I felt it. A cold splash across my lap. Red wine, spreading across my navy dress like blood. Oh my God. Vanessa's voice, loud with fake concern. I'm so sorry. I'm such a klutz. She was standing right beside my chair, an empty wine glass in her hand, her expression a perfect mask of apology. But her eyes were calculating. Cold. This was planned. It's fine, I said quietly, standing up. The wine dripped down my dress. Everyone at nearby tables had turned to look. Here, let me help. Vanessa reached for me with napkins, making a show of dabbing at the wine, actually making it worse. Really, it's okay, I said, stepping back. That's when Marcus appeared. But he didn't come to me. He went straight to Vanessa. "Are you all right?" he asked her, his hand on her arm. Proprietary, protective. The room had gotten quieter. People were watching now. This was it, their moment. The setup for whatever humiliation they'd planned. Dr. Chen approached, his face concerned. "Rachel, dear, are you?" "I'm fine, Dr. Chen," I said, my voice carrying across the ballroom. "Accidents happen, though I should probably change before the presentation." "Oh, don't worry about that," Vanessa said sweetly. "You can skip it if you're uncomfortable. Daddy and Marcus won't mind. It's mostly business stuff anyway, probably boring for teachers." There it was. The dismissal. The implication that I didn't belong, wasn't important enough to stay. I looked at her. Really looked at her. 28 years old, pretty, privileged, convinced she was untouchable. "Actually," I said, my voice steady and clear, "I'd hate to miss it. Marcus has been working so hard on the foundation. I'm very interested to hear what he has to say." Marcus's expression flickered just for a second. Confusion? Worry? But then his usual smugness slid back into place. "Great, honey. Maybe sit in the back, though? You know, with the wine stain." "Of course," I agreed. "I'll just grab something from my room first. Won't be long." I walked out of that ballroom with my head high, wine dripping from my dress, while whispers followed me. I could imagine what they were saying. "Poor Rachel. So awkward. Did you see how Marcus went to Vanessa instead?" Let them whisper. They had no idea what was coming. In my room, I didn't change. Instead, I opened my laptop, checked the file one more time. Everything was ready. The flash drive in my purse. The printed packets in a folder. I'd sent David an email that morning. "Whatever happens tonight, I need you to be ready. Legal papers should be filed first thing Monday." His response had been immediate. "I've got everything prepared. Go get them, Rachel. Sarah would be proud." I touched the pearls at my ears. "Watch this," I whispered to my friend who couldn't hear me anymore. "Watch me be strong." When I returned to the ballroom, dessert was being served. I slipped into a seat near the back, just like Marcus had suggested. The wine stain on my dress was obvious, but I didn't try to hide it. Let them see it. Let them remember this moment. Dr. Chen stood up, tapping his glass. "Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention. We have a very special presentation tonight from our foundation board chair, Marcus Webb. Marcus has done exceptional work this year, and I'm excited to announce that thanks to his efforts, we're launching our largest scholarship program ever." Applause filled the room. Marcus stood, straightened his jacket, walked to the podium with that confident stride. Vanessa watched him with undisguised admiration. He began his presentation. Graphs showing donation increases. Statistics about student impact. Photos of smiling children, my students, some of them. Kids I taught every day whose futures he'd been stealing from. "The foundation has grown tremendously," Marcus was saying, clicking through slides. "Through strategic investment and careful management, we've increased our funding capacity by 40%. Strategic investment, careful management, the lies came so easily to him. I raised my hand. Marcus paused mid-sentence. Yes? I have a question, I said, standing up. My voice was calm, almost friendly. About the financial management. Do you mind if I add something to your presentation? I've been doing some research. Confusion crossed his face. Rachel, this isn't really the time. Oh, but it is, I said, walking toward the front. Every eye in the room followed me. The wine-stained teacher interrupting her important husband. Dr. Chen, would you mind if I borrowed the screen? Just for a few minutes. I promise it's relevant. Dr. Chen looked between us, uncertain. But I was a teacher he'd worked with for years. Trusted. I suppose that's fine? Rachel, Marcus said, his voice low, warning. Sit down. In a moment. I pulled the flash drive from my purse. Ejected his presentation, loaded mine. I just want to share what I've learned about the foundation. About where the money's really been going. Marcus's face went pale. You don't know what you're. The first image filled the screen. A bank transfer, $40,000 from the Chen Academy Foundation to an LLC, Marcus's LLC. Gasps rippled through the crowd. This is private, Marcus started. This is theft, I corrected. Click. Next image. A receipt for a condo down payment. From the scholarship fund. Money meant for students. Click. Photos of Marcus and Vanessa. Not just together intertwined. Intimate. Undeniable. Vanessa made a sound like a strangled gasp. Wait, that's Dr. Chen's voice. Your daughter and my husband, I said clearly. Having an affair for 8 months. Funded by money stolen from your academy's foundation. Click. Messages. Marcus's words, displayed 20 feet high. She has no idea. Literally grading papers while I'm texting you. Click. Vanessa's response. Can you imagine her face in front of all her coworkers? She'd probably cry. Click. Their plan? Their jokes, their contempt. The room was completely silent now. No one eating dessert, no one moving. Just staring. Marcus found his voice. This is insane. Rachel, you're clearly upset, having some kind of breakdown. I'm not crying, I observed. Funny, isn't it? You both seemed so sure I would. I turned to address the room. You know what I've learned this past 2 weeks? That silence isn't weakness. That being underestimated is sometimes an advantage. And that when someone calls you too sensitive, what they really mean is they want you to stop noticing how terribly they're behaving. Click. Financial records, detailed spreadsheets showing every stolen dollar, every false report, every misappropriated fund. 8 months of embezzlement, I continued. Documented, verified, and already reported to the proper authorities. The police have these same files. So does the IRS. Dr. Chen was on his feet now. His face had gone from confused to gray to absolutely furious. Vanessa? Vanessa? She was crying. Actually crying. Not the elegant single tear, messy, desperate sobs. Daddy, I didn't know about the money, I swear, I didn't. But you knew about my wife, Marcus said bitterly. The mask was cracking. You knew you were destroying a marriage. Don't you dare, I said, my voice sharp enough to cut. Don't you dare try to shift this onto her like you're some victim. You're both adults who made choices. Cruel, selfish, illegal choices. I pulled out the printed packets. Started handing them to the board members sitting closest to me. These are complete financial audits. Timeline of the affair. Evidence of fraud. Everything you'll need for your investigation. One packet I saved. Walked it directly to Dr. Chen. I'm sorry, I said to him quietly. I know this is your daughter. But these are also your students. Your academy. You deserve to know the truth. His hands shook as he took the folder. When he looked at me, there were tears in his eyes. Rachel, I don't. You trusted him because I vouched for him, I said. Because I was married to him, so he seemed safe. That's on me too. I should have seen it sooner. This isn't your fault, Dr. Chen said firmly. I know, I replied. It's his. I turned back to Marcus. He was still at the podium, but he looked smaller somehow. Diminished. The confident businessman who'd spent years making me feel insignificant was now the one everyone was looking at with disgust. You always said I didn't understand the business world, I told him. That I was too simple, too sensitive, too small to handle real pressure. But here's what you never understood, Marcus. I've been handling pressure every single day. 25 7-year-olds who need patience, creativity, and constant attention to detail. Who need someone to notice when something's wrong, document it, and find a solution. I smiled. It didn't feel cruel. Just true. Turns out those skills translate really well. Noticing patterns. Gathering evidence. Solving problems. You spent years teaching kids their ABCs while thinking you were superior. I spent years teaching kids to think critically, pay attention, stand up for what's right. Guess which one of us actually learned something? Marcus's mouth opened. Closed. He had nothing to say. I looked around the room. I'm sorry for disrupting your evening, but I thought you all deserved the truth before making any more investments in a foundation being run by thieves. Then I walked out. Not dramatically. Not running. Just walked out. Steady and calm and absolutely sure of every step. Behind me, the room erupted. Shouting, questions, chaos. I heard Dr. Chen's voice rising above it all. Security. Don't let them leave. Someone call the police. But I didn't look back. In the lobby, I found David waiting. He must have driven up the moment I texted him an hour ago. His expression was somewhere between worried and amazed. "Did you?" "It's done," I said. He pulled me into a hug. "Sarah would have thrown a parade for you." "That was... Rachel. That was incredible." "Was it?" I felt oddly disconnected. The adrenaline was starting to fade, leaving something else in its wake. Not regret. Not sadness. Something lighter. Relief. "The divorce papers are ready," David said. "We can file Monday. With the embezzlement evidence, you'll get everything. The house, assets, probably spousal support. He'll be lucky to stay out of prison." "I don't want revenge," I said. "I just want free." "You'll get both," David promised. We walked outside into the warm Texas night. I could still hear commotion from the ballroom, but it felt distant now. Someone else's problem. My phone buzzed. A text from my colleague, Sarah Chen, no relation to Dr. Chen. She'd been sitting 3 tables over. "Oh my God. Are you okay? That was the most badass thing I've ever seen. We're all behind you." Then another, from the other second-grade teacher. "You're our hero. Seriously. Drinks on me forever." And another. And another. Support, shock, solidarity. But no messages from Marcus. No apologies, no explanations, just silence. Good. The next few weeks were a blur. Marcus was arrested for embezzlement. The foundation pressed charges. Dr. Chen's lawyers were ruthless. Vanessa got cut off financially by her father. No more trust fund. No more apartment, no more designer lifestyle. She moved back to LA, reportedly working a regular job for the first time in her life. The divorce was fast. Marcus's lawyer tried to fight for assets. But with the criminal charges, he had no leverage. I got the house. The savings. Even some of Marcus's real estate commissions from before the affair. The courts ruled they were marital property. Dr. Chen was devastated but professional. He apologized to me at least a dozen times, none of which were necessary. "You saved this academy," he told me. "We could have lost everything if you hadn't been brave enough to speak up." But the real change happened inside me. That fall, when school started again, I walked into my classroom differently. I'd spent so many years being told I was small, simple, insignificant, teaching basic stuff while the real world happened elsewhere. But I looked at my students, 26 brand new second graders with gap-toothed smiles and boundless questions, and I knew the truth. This was real. This mattered. These kids, learning to read and think and question and grow. This was the most important work in the world, regardless of what anyone else valued. I was promoted to assistant principal that spring. Dr. Chen said I'd earned it, that my attention to detail and integrity made me invaluable. I still taught part-time, couldn't give that up completely, but now I also helped shape curriculum, mentor new teachers, make decisions that affected hundreds of students. The house sold. I didn't want to stay there, surrounded by memories of being diminished. I bought a smaller place near the school, filled it with books and plants and space for myself. David and I became closer friends. Not romantic, we both had too much healing to do, but supportive. He'd bring takeout on rough days. I'd help him clean out Sarah's things when he was finally ready. We were family, in the way people choose to be. And sometimes, on quiet evenings, I'd sit on my back porch with tea and Sarah's pearls around my neck, and I'd think about that night at the resort. Not with anger. Not with satisfaction, exactly. Just with certainty. I'd been called too sensitive my whole life. Too emotional. Too small to matter in the real world. But I'd learned the truth. Sensitivity is noticing when something's wrong. Emotion is caring enough to fix it. And being small only matters if you let other people define your size. Marcus had spent years trying to make me smaller, quieter, less significant. Instead, I'd documented everything, built my case, and when the moment was right, I'd shown him exactly how much I noticed. How much I'd been paying attention all along. I didn't cry when they served me divorce papers. I signed them immediately. Then I served them something they'd never forget. And walked away free.
I'm freezing. I'm bleeding. Slowly fading away. But don't worry. I'm fine. The cold to settle in my heartbeat, like winter living in my veins. Every breath feels numb and fragile, every smile just hides the pain. I'm breaking quietly in silence, falling slow without a sound. Yet I keep saying I'm okay, while my world burns to the ground. I'm frozen here, I'm bleeding slowly, dying piece by piece inside. But I still whisper, it's alright, just to keep you from goodbye. I'm shattered, love, but don't you worry, I'll pretend till my last breath. Even while my soul is fading, I'll say everything's okay. Maybe pain just learned to live here, maybe sorrow feels like home. So I wear my wounds like armor and survive them all alone. I'm frozen here, I'm bleeding slowly, dying piece by piece inside. But I still whisper, it's alright, just to keep you from goodbye. I'm shattered, love, but don't you worry, I'll pretend till my last breath. Even while my soul is fading, I'll say everything's okay. If you ever see me smiling, no, it's just my last defense. 'Cause sometimes love means hiding how much you're suffering. No, I'm frozen here, I'm bleeding slowly, dying piece by piece inside. But I still whisper, it's alright, just to keep you from goodbye. I'm shattered, love, but don't you worry, I'll pretend till my last breath. Even while my soul is fading, I'll say everything's okay. It's okay.
They say just forget, move on like it's easy. But forgetting you feels like remembering someone I've never seen. I've been trying to erase you from the places in my mind, but the harder that I fight it, the more you're hard to leave behind. Every memory keeps slipping through the cracks I try to close, like a face I should remember, but somehow never know. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true. Every moment turns to fragments, every thought just fades to blue, like I'm searching for a feeling that still only leads to you. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true.